Welcome to the Peace Circle. I'm Gina Colvario Krupka, and I am a practitioner, blessed to be in service on this beloved network. I am also the spiritual director of CSL Greater Boston, who we have our service on this very network. We play it every Sunday evening or afternoon, depending upon where you are, and we'd love for you to join us. We are on this network on Sundays, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, and wherever you are, timing accordingly. So I am blessed to be here with you this evening for our Peace Circle. And what the Peace Circle is, we come together for a time to be the change we wish to see in the world. When we look around, there's so much on the outer that seems so frightening sometimes. We look around and there's so much that seems to disturb the peace. Who wouldn't want world peace? Who wouldn't want inner peace? Of course we want that, but it's not a sound bite. It's something that exists within us, just as love and joy and every attribute of divine is within us. But it's not always easy to access when we're not used to it, when we're not in the practice of it. So here on the Peace Circle, we come together to do just that. We practice peace, finding peace in the midst of a storm, finding peace regardless of what I see on the outside, remembering and knowing the truth, and uplifting ourselves, therefore being able to uplift our families, those we love, and this oneness called life itself. So I am grateful to be here with you as the host for this evening. And our topic today is choosing faith over fear. That is our topic for this evening. And, every day we have opportunities. Every day. And to this one is no different. Right now on the worldview and the world scope, there's definitely a need and a call for peace. And I am knowing that we are here and we will do a treatment and know that peace this evening together. But I also want to begin with what we always begin with, which is the poem, I Too Have a Dream. I wrote this long before the Peace Circle, and it sums it up pretty clearly. In my dream, too, we all are equal, and not color, religion, nor income defines who we are. Neither country nor region defines us as kin. Whether 2 legs or 4, plant or animal, we were all created of the one Creator, with no greater claim to borrow this beautiful earth. In my dream, we all are one, treating each other with love and respect, and living in peace. We are all truly awake, knowing our purpose to share love and joy, to uplift each other, and in doing so, uplift ourselves. In my dream, we each remember and appreciate each other and truly understand that all is well. And again, it doesn't always feel that way. There's on the worldview right now, there are places that are anything but at peace. And while it's uncomfortable to watch, we can uphold the truth. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about, well, what is fear and how do I step away from it? Ernest Holmes says that fear is the antithesis of faith. It is the negation of trust. Like faith, fear can be conscious or unconscious with the subjective mind. And if it is to be eliminated, it must be eliminated from both the conscious mind and the subjective mind. And that's from the Science of Mind glossary. So what does that mean, eliminate it? Well, it's not about getting to a place of thinking, well, I'm never going to have a fearful thought. See, I know that fear and faith can't be in the same place at the same time. So if I'm feeling anxious, if I am feeling fearful, I am not leaning into my faith. So the first thing is to know that, we have it, that it is within us, that power, that light, that love, that faith is possible in any circumstance. And I love this. The moment that we realize that we're in the midst of fear, we must not struggle to get away from it. Rather, we must relax and declare the truth, remembering that it is the truth that will set us free. Let us invoke this truth by saying, wherever I am, there is God. Let there be light in me. So wherever I am, Spirit is. That oneness, those attributes, every bit of it, I am that I am presence. Each one is that individualized expression of divine. And knowing that, I can remember the light within me. So I'm going to play the first song for the evening. And it's Karen, actually the first song that I'm going to play is from the song originally was Mariah Carey. And the person that sings it, Lucy Thomas, is doing the cover, which I think is beautiful. And it's Hero. It's knowing that that hero is lying within you and really being in that place of allowing that, knowing it and living it and being it, just allowing it.
There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer. If you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. Strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that a hero lies in you. When you face the world alone, no one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself, and the emptiness you felt will disappear.
So that hero is within you. There's nothing, there's nowhere, there's nothing outside you that needs to be. And it's remembering that and it's practicing that and going through that again and again. And it's really knowing ourselves and paying attention to our emotions. When we break it down, what am I really afraid of? What are the things that really are so daunting? And there's real things that happen in life. I don't mean that at all. And everybody fears. And it's so important that it's not about being fearless in the sense of there isn't any. That's denial. Everybody has it. It's just simply fearing less. We can do that. Just be in fear less. Every human ever had fear. Jesus in the garden said, Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done. Luke 22:42. Even he asked, knowing what was to come, does this need to be? We don't have to like every experience in life, but that's where that faith in, that highest and best, whether you call it divine timing or whether you call it, whatever you may feel and believe in, the truth is that everything in life builds on everything else and that there is good meant for you. And sometimes it's those seemingly bad things that lead to the better. So when you really break down fear, what does it look like? To me, the most common fears are losing what I have, or in general for people, it's losing what I have, not getting what I want, what others might think of me. How can I do that? What would they think? What I would think of me, or not being loved or needed. These are pretty much what it breaks down to. And I love the picture in here because I chose this because it feels like life is just out of focus. When we're in that place of fear, the common doesn't seem common. And, there's a difference between fear and anxiety in the sense of a chemical imbalance. There are people that, there's tools that help us to stay in balance. And there are people that absolutely need that. And Ernest Holmes said, you treat and you take the pill, because that pill is also part of divine. It was created with the wisdom of divine mind. It is also part of a solution. There's so much angst around the coronavirus, and it has taken away, or seemed to have taken away, a lot of freedoms over the past couple of years. There's been a lot of stuff and emotions and loss. There's so much. And we have vaccinations, and we have treatments, and we have all kinds of things that are coming out. So much is being developed from that one mind. So we get the opportunity to do both. We can go back to the truth of, yes, I am whole and complete. I am perfect. And I know that I am well. And I also can be in the world if that's what I choose, and use the tools that are there for me. And I do that. It's whatever is going to make me be more in alignment with truth, more in alignment with spirit. And sometimes things crop up. And when they do, not if they do, but when they do, I have an opportunity to look at myself a little deeper. To me, this is what fear is all about. It lurks in the shadows and it grows if we do not shine the light of truth upon it. So when we are looking at a shadow, it seems so much bigger than we are. But the truth dwindles down to these simple causes. That I don't want to lose what I have. What if I don't get what I think what's meant for me? What if I'm not going to be feeling loved and appreciated? And life is from the inside out, not from the outside in. So what I'm projecting is what I'm attracting. The emotions, the creative energy, my feelings, my thoughts, they're creating and attracting at all times. So am I attracting what it is that I choose, or am I caught up in the cycle of what I don't want? Because the universe doesn't hear don't. It only is attracting to the level of thought. So if my thought is fear, it's attracting what I'm afraid of. And it's really important that we remember we get a choice. Reverend Michael Beckwith said, you live in a mind field, or do you live in a garden? So you have to ask yourself that question. When we live in a minefield mentally, we explode with the weeds of worry, doubt, fear, lack, and limitation. Choose to cultivate your inner garden. So how do we do that? How do we cultivate our inner garden? And we do that by being in that place of practice. That's how I look at it. Spiritual practice. There's a reason that when everything implodes, because at times we all have those moments in life where things are not the way we want them to be. I have thankfully learned that I am on a life raft of faith that carries me through anything. And there's been a lot of stuff that it has carried me through. No matter what, Spirit has me. And I know that. And that holds me when I am in doubt or when I am feeling anything but the good in that moment. It's part of being human. We all have those moments. And it's so important that when we are caught up in the fear, it's two meanings. We can either forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. So how are you living in your life? You know, when we dissipate the fear, when we let it all go, that sunlight, I love that bottom picture. You know, there is always light, but am I using it? There's always light. The sun is always there. It doesn't, at nighttime, when it gets dark where I am, it doesn't mean that the sun isn't there. We turned away. The earth has turned away from that sunlight. So when I am feeling dark, it's because I've turned away from the light. It may not be consciously, but it happens. We have the option to turn on that light, that I can choose to live in and as the light. If you're sitting in a dark room, you get an option. If you're wired for electricity, if you don't flip the switch, you're going to stay in a dark room. If you don't do something different, you're going to stay stuck where you are. So I encourage you to be in a place of asking yourself right now, in the stillness, in the quiet, as we listen to this beautiful song from Karen Drucker that's I Have Faith. I invite you to allow anything to bubble up. And I want you to be mindful that anger often is fear with a mask. It is that place that is covered. It's easier to be angry than afraid. So when people are outwardly angry, the inside part of that is fear. The root of it is those same simple things. So as you listen to this song, what's coming up for you? What might you have been holding on to that it's time to release?
I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith, I have faith, I pray faith, I choose faith, I am faith, I have hope, I pray hope, I choose hope. I am hope. I have hope. I pray hope. I choose hope. I am hope. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. I have love. I pray love. I choose love. I am love. I have love. I pray love. I choose love. I am love. You are love. We are love. All God's children are love. You are love. We are love. All God's children are love. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well. When I trust and I let go, I know all is well.
So, knowing all is well and taking that in and knowing that love is the nature of the universe and love has no opposites. Spirit is all that there is. When I remember that and knowing who and whose I am, when I have the practice daily of meditation, reading positive affirmations, when I am in that place of prayer, our treatment, our 5 steps of prayer, I'm aligning myself with that truth. And that's what dissipates the seeming darkness. That's turning on the light. Because spirit doesn't go anywhere, just like the sun doesn't go anywhere. It's the planet turning away from it. When I am in that place of fear, I am allowing a seeming blockage to the light. And it often doesn't feel like I'm doing it. It's not conscious most of the time. But there are times. So when I shine that light of truth, when I shine that light, it dissipates. See, there's a false belief in separation that can make us think that our good is somewhere else, that someone's going to keep me from it. And when I get out of my stuff and look at the bigger picture, and I can remember that there is good in this world in so many places. There's things that we can choose to watch or not. And it doesn't mean that we're not supposed to know what goes on in the world. Right now, the situation between Russia and the Ukraine, it is not anywhere near what I would want to look at on any given day or moment. But me not knowing about it, me not praying about it, doesn't help anyone. I can know the truth. I can be the light. And we are that when we hold that. When we know, when we have family members that are going through difficult times, or maybe we're going through them, and people send you love, it's a real thing. See, we look at the things that we can see, like, this bottle of water is real because it's a bottle of water, that it's physical. I can touch it, therefore it's real. But steam is still water. It's just not, it's vibrating at a different level. So when it's vibrating slow enough, I can actually pick it up. But it doesn't make it more or less real. It's just our perspective of it. So I have the opportunity to choose the lenses that I look at life. And I'm going to read a page. It's actually out Daily Word, and it's for March 21st. They send them early. It's for March 21st this year, and it's on faith. I behold the world through the lens of faith. Living my faith does not mean seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. Instead, it means taking and holding a higher view of all circumstances in my life and in the world. I believe in the possibility of peace, even in the midst of conflict and strife. I believe comfort is available in the presence of pain and grief. I believe healing is possible and the wholeness can be realized even in a state of illness or injury. I am fully in the world, present to its more troubling and worrisome conditions, and yet I remain untroubled in mind and light in heart. Using faith as a lens through which I view the world and my place in it, I attune myself to a greater reality. I relax into God's abundant grace, secure in my faith that all is truly well. So I can be in that place, really rooted in that truth of knowingness, that regardless of what I see, all is well. Ernest Holmes wrote in The Science of Mind that faith is an attitude of mind that is so convinced of its own idea that it accepts it so completely that any contradiction is inconceivable and impossible. Before we can create such a mental attitude, there must be nothing in our subjective mind that contradicts our objective affirmation. So, in other words, plucking out those weeds of doubt. And I love the sign beside it. If you look at it, faith, forgiveness, prayer, love, kindness, hope, joy, peace. These are things that really help us flex the muscle of faith. All of those things. Kindness. When we're kind to others, we feel good. When we forgive, we're relieved. Hope. Hope is an underlying goodness at the bottom of everything. I know we are live today, so I would love to have you, any questions, any comments, please put them in the chat. I would love to have that. We are here in this place of knowing that there is a higher way of looking at things. And we get the opportunity in that to live differently. And it's not in judgment. It's not saying something is good and something is bad. It's simply a choice of something different. Marianne Williamson says, love casts out sin or fear, the way light casts out darkness. The shift from fear to love is a miracle. It doesn't fix things on the earth plane. It addresses the real source of our problems, which is always at the level of consciousness. So in my mind, my thinking is off. Love is all there is. And when I'm seeing that seeming darkness, when I'm feeling less than or alone, I can change the lens that I'm looking through. I can look, and it's not about looking away, it's about going within. It's being kind. It's the practices of our tools, of new thought, of faith. I love the practice of visioning. because Spirit's idea is always so much bigger than mine. There's so many tools that we have. And in using those tools, I flex those muscles. I build those muscles. And I'm more able to go with the flow and act rather than react to life. Don Miguel Ruiz in the Four Agreements wrote, "This is the beginning of a new understanding, a new dream. Use your imagination and tremendous things will happen. Imagine that you have the ability to see the world with different eyes whenever you choose. Using your imagination and your new eyes of perception, I want you to see yourself living a new life, a new dream. And I invite you to do that. What would it look like? Be in this place, assuming that you're not driving. If you're feeling comfortable, just close your eyes. Imagine that you have the ability to see the world with different eyes. What does your new way of living look like? What is your dream? Imagine that you have permission to be happy and to really enjoy your life. What does that look like? What does that feel like? And taking in a breath and just allowing everything that came before just to exhale out. Imagine living your life without fear of expressing your dreams. To be able to say freely, this is what I choose. Imagine living your life without the fear of being judged by others. Imagine living your whole life without judging others. Imagine living without the fear of loving and not being loved. Just loving. Imagine living your life without being afraid to take a risk and to explore life. Imagine that you love yourself just the way you are. Again, because that's important. Imagine that you love yourself just the way you are. This way of life is possible, and it's in your hands. Moses called it the promised land. Buddha called it nirvana. Jesus called it heaven. And the Toltecs called it a new dream. Imagine. So in that knowing and in that beingness, we get that opportunity to look at life and look at everything differently. And I invite you to breathe that in as we listen to this next song. Continue to imagine, what would your life look like? What would the life of the people in your family, how would that change? And as you listen to this next song by Faith Rivera, Instrument of Peace, I invite you to just think about it. Think about that.
Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there's despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, ever joy. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Oh, divine Master, source of light in all, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to be loved. For it is in giving that we receive. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. Oh, it is in dying that we are born to eternal Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, an instrument of peace. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Lord, make me an instrument of peace.
Make me an instrument of your peace. And that's what we're here at the Peace Circle for, to be the change we wish to see in the world. And it's living from that place of our soul, that highest self within. And fear, well, fear is a tool of the ego. It is what the ego tells us that we have to fight for and against, because we have lack, or there's a limit, somebody's going to take something from us, or it's not already there. Everything we need is from the inside out. And when we remember that, we live differently. Marianne Williamson said, "In fear, we forget who we really are. Forgetting who we are, we forget who lives within us. And in forgetting who lives within us, we lose conscious connection to our power." That power is always there. It's not sometimes there. Just like the sun is always there. It's just whether or not we're facing it. Here's electricity. Did I turn it on the light? I have a choice in my life, and it shows up in every choice that I make. It shows up in so many ways. And, we get that opportunity to be the love, to be the change in every day. And it looks differently. And it's not always easy. And there are things that come up that are triggers in our life. We were programmed. It's like there's buttons within us. Family can touch them more than anybody else. They know right where they are, 0 to 60. Sometimes it's old memories. Sometimes it's fears, doubts, and insecurities in certain circumstances. Sometimes there's childhood or even adult traumas. It's real stuff. Sometimes it's misinformation. We were taught in scarcity, or we were taught to fear. There's so much talk about dis-ease in a world right now. You can't watch TV without seeing all of the different ads for everything that's wrong and all the side effects that go with it. And it's not there's not a time and place for medicine. Of course there is. And there's a lot of fear being perpetuated. You get a choice. You're the monitor for what comes into your life. And I encourage you to be in that place of allowing yourself to go within and to acknowledge whatever the emotion may be, so we can fear less. It doesn't all go away. It's just literally fearing less. And I have a poem of mine that I'd like to share with you called Fearless. Fearless is a state of mind that is not easily defined. Simply put, it means without fear, but in people, it's always there. Some ignore the anxious thoughts, pretend and act without fraud. Many become paralyzed by their fear. It's only perceived lack which holds them there. Others acknowledge their doubts and fears, but refuse to allow them to hinder their dares. Cautious, wise, cocky, or distraught, fearless is trusting and taking the step, regardless of what others thought. Fearless is in knowing your part in divine's plan and living the purpose for which is your part. Fearless disregards excuses or limiting ideas, but does not mean living without fear. For the fearless act accordingly, regardless of what may be to come. Fearless is truly acting in faith, often not easy, but the only way to your greatest fate. So in that knowing of, we get that choice. It's taking that leap sometimes. It's doing the next right thing. If you have children, you've experienced fear. It's just the way that it is. Anything you take, any kind of, it could be a common cold, and you want to take it from them. And as they grow up, you want to protect them. There's a fear in that, of course, and it's natural. It's part of what we're here for, is to love each other, nurture each other. And there comes a point that we have to do that for ourselves first. In nurturing ourselves and filling our cups with that self-care, we get the opportunity to be strong enough to be that change. Faith over fear begins with self-care. It's eating right, it's sleeping right, it's the exercise, it's the fun stuff, it's friendship, it's our relationships. Whether it's listening to music that brings us up, whether it's reading something that reminds us of our truth, watching a movie, and sometimes it's just laughing. It's not taking it all too seriously. We get a choice, and it is so important that we take that choice. Ernest Holmes said there's a power far greater than we are. There is a love that casts out fear and a faith that overcomes all obstructions. Through affirmative thinking, we enter into this power, this love, with complete confidence. If we can believe that the spirit within us makes perfect and happy the way before us, then we enter into conscious union with everything that lives and commune with the spirit in all people and all things. It's not fighting the ego. It's recognizing it. It's witnessing it and acknowledging it, and then clearing the lens and moving forward. We have that opportunity every day in life. We don't always take it. We don't always recognize it. There's a lot of insecurities that we all have. It's part of being human. Sometimes we don't acknowledge them. I know for much of my life, I lived in denial that everything was okay. I had that false cheerfulness, and there was so much within me that I didn't know how to acknowledge because I was taught not to. You did it anyway. It doesn't matter if there was fear there. You didn't acknowledge fear. You just did it. And that was everything in life. From a physically, if there was a couch to move, we moved it. I grew up with my mom, my sister, and I. And whatever needed to be done, we just did it. We didn't think, could we? We just did. This was years ago. And, my mom, actually at this point, it's about 30 years ago, started her own barbershop. And, that was uncommon for where we were raised and how it was uncommon. And I'm sure she had plenty of fear, but she never showed it. It's about being that which we wish to see, being the love, being the embodiment of the divine attributes we choose. And tonight I would like to, I don't always, but I'd love to do a prayer today for the peace in the world that we live in, knowing and casting that blanket of truth, casting out the lies and lighting the way. So just taking a breath, I invite you to just be present as we lift ourselves, as we lift the world. I know there is only one power. It is the power behind the sun, the moon, and everything that I can't even conceive of. It is the seen and the unseen. It's all there is, was, and ever will be. This one power, this allness, this love, includes me, includes each one, each individualized expression of life right here and right now. Each one watching, each one that we love, every animal, every aspect of life is this one, perfect, whole, and complete. There is nothing where spirit is not. And knowing that this infinite creation of the Creator, the beloved of the beloved, has infinite birthright. I claim that beauty and harmony, that peace of divine right here and right now. I know it, in the center of it all is peace. And I claim that peace outwardly. I claim that peace in Russia, in Ukraine. I claim that peace in the Middle East. I claim that peace within our country. That there are no sides. There is only a single human family. I recognize that family right here, right now. I recognize the family resemblance in this fabric called life. And I love each one. I am love. Each one is love. And I claim that love and light right here and right now. And I set that ripple of love and light like a blanket. I set it outward, past my neighborhood, past my state, past my country and continent, that it wraps around this entire world, that peace and harmony, that light, that love, that abundance, that each one, each individualized expression has everything that is needed. Each one has plenty to eat. Each one has shelter. Each one has love, is love, and loved, and knows it. I claim this divine perfection right here and right now. And I know that Spirit has given this birthright that I claim, and that it cannot come back void. For in this knowing of the one mind, it casts out all fear, any seeming doubt. The light of truth shines. The light of love ripples. That peace is. So I hand that over to the law to be the doer, knowing that the highest good for each one is declared and received, setting it free into the law to do what it does. I let God be God, and I let it be easy and joyful. And I am so thankful to know that light, to know that peace, and to claim it right here and right now. So setting it free in joyful anticipation, I say amen and blessed be. And together we say, and so it is. So thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate you casting that light with me. And I invite you this Sunday, actually even before that, this Thursday, my guest is on Finding the Joy in the Journey on Thursday. I have the special guest. It is on this network on Thursday at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And my special guest is going to be Reverend Dr. Barry Fleet, who is also going to be with us on Sunday at Sunday service for CSL Greater Boston. It is 10 a.m. live on Facebook or YouTube, or again here at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And he will be talking about moving into your magnificence. However, there is a workshop that is going to be right after that. So 11:30 a.m. this Sunday, February 27th, I invite you. If there's any questions, reach out to me, Gina at cslboston.org. Again, Gina at cslboston.org, and I can answer any questions you may have. If you're in the Medford, Massachusetts area, join us in person. If not, join us via Zoom, and we'd love to have you. And he's going to be talking about the science of success. So we would, again, love to have you there. Reach out to me, whether it be through Facebook, or if you want to reach out to me at cslboston.org, Gina at cslboston.org. So join us for that, and know that there's so much good here on this network. There's actually a show that's newer, and I noticed this today, and I was so excited. Caring for Caregivers. This is on this channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So it's going to be starting in just an hour. caring for caregivers. How beautiful is that? So, as always, there is so much good here. And of course, there'll be evening prayers after that. Know that there is so much here for you, that you are loved and that you are love. And thank you for being here with me this evening. So grateful for your presence. Remember, choose to live in and as the light. Flip that switch. Be in that place of knowing who and whose you are, living from that soul, living that purpose, living in and as love. So thank you for being here with me this evening as we move into the truth and are the change we wish to see in the world. Blessings and love to you. Namaste.